Today, this big box arrived, filled with records. Let's look what's inside.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, yes, that's right, Elvis Presley.
Hi there, welcome to Your Elvis Guide. I'm Alexander, and today I'm going to show you which records were in the box that I got delivered today. It's always a surprise what you eventually get when you buy off eBay and when you buy off Discogs. So in the box where I had a sneak preview when unpacking the box, there are a few surprises, a few ultra rarities, and a few records that were quite disappointing, actually. Let me tour you through the highlights, and then I will also get to you what records were disappointing. That's also collecting, not knowing what you get, and then anticipating the package for weeks, and then open it and then think, well, that was not the quality I expected. It's all in the game. Let's go to the first record. That's this one. It's 50 million Elvis fans can be wrong. It's the first stereo version, and it's called the Staggered stereo, in 1962. It comes with the original inner sleeve. So that's a 1964 inner sleeve. And here you see the Staggered stereo label. That's the very first pressings of Elvis mono catalog from the 50s in stereo came on the Staggered stereo label. These were printed in 1962 and 1963. Well, a first disappointment. Kissing Cousins was advertised being a 10 label, and I forgot to ask the seller for confirmation because there was a clear picture of the 10 label with it, but it turned out to be an orange flax. So I guess it's all in the game. This is a beautiful copy of Elvis GI Blues, and maybe from the inner label you can already see from which time frame. It's from 1968. And it's on the orange Deep Groove label. It's rigid vinyl. Yeah, it's a beautiful copy. It really is. And here we have another GI Blues. And this one I'm particularly fond of. This is such a surprise because it was on Discogs and it was fairly cheap. But it's still in the shrink. I hope you can see that. We'll take the sleeve off. So, hope you can see that. It's still nicely in the shrink. The inner sleeve is very nice, almost looks new, but there are some splits in it. And this is my surprise. Oh, shoot. Let's put it this way. It's a stone mint copy, and it's on the silver mono label. And like I explained in the previous video, these silver mono labels were only pressed in the Hollywood plant in 1963, and they were done in very small runs. So this is a great copy. It's a very, very hard to find variation of the Gia Blues album. Elvis, something for everybody. With the 1968 pink inner sleeve. And it's on rigid vinyl. Elvis King Creole, and by the design you can already see that it's a late 70s pressing. They switched to this design, RCA Victor switched to this design around 1971. So the inner sleeve, and that will tell you that it's in at least the 1976 pressing, and it's a gorgeous tan label pressing. So this is a tan label, and not the orange we saw with the Kissing Cousins. Potluck. The inner sleeve. And this feels like a very, very rigid, a very flexible version. You can hear that. This is A Date with Elvis. Again, the 70s logo, if you can see that, is you can see it's a 70s design. And this one is not so easy to find. It's only 10 label. And it's a gorgeous copy. Looks unplayed. Elvis in person, the double set with the in person the Las Vegas show, as well as the 1969 some masters from the American Sound sessions from 1969. And I always appreciate sellers that are sending their records with clean inner sleeves and in such poly bags. That's real great service. So if you were the seller, then thanks. The original inner sleeve you can see behind the inner sleeve, and you can see it's a 10 label, so it's a 1975 1976 issue of From Memphis to Vegas, in person at the International Hotel Las Vegas. Loving You, again, 70s design. The seller put a funny sticker on it, on the poly sleeve, so it's not on the record, of course. It's minimal wear. This is an AFL1. Can you see that? Like this? Yeah. AFL1. Again, splendid copy. Elvis, the second album. Again, you can see it's a 70s copy. This is the inner sleeve. And what do you guess? It's a tan label. Elvis Speedway. Very nice copy. The inner sleeve. And it's an orange. Yeah, definitely a flex. Then, oh, this is a nice story. Maybe I should do this one as well. The first run of Rousabout, or the main run of Rousabout, was done in the Indianapolis plant and in the Rockaway plant on the black label white top, the 1964 label. So RCA switched to this label in 1964, but apparently the Hollywood plant didn't get that memo and printed a very small run on the silver label of 1963. And during my whole last month, I finally found myself a very, very nice copy of Roustabout. On the silver mono label, the 1963 silver mono label. And these are quite hard to find. But even harder to find is when you are looking for Roustabout on the silver stereo label. And Here we have a pristine copy, I would say near mint, of Rousabout. Gorgeous quality. And here we have Rousabout on the silver stereo label. I estimate this to be a $500 record. And not from the United States, but in the United Kingdom, I also found a very rare version of Rousabout, and this came in last week. Again, the 1964 sleeve, but when I show you this, you probably already know that it must be a 1968, 1969, 1970 pressing. And it's on rigid vinyl, Rousabout on rigid vinyl. Now, Rousabout was a #1 album in the United States in 1964, but it wasn't, and it was repressed in 1968 and in 1971 and in 1976, but always in very small runs. So the consecutive pressings are very hard to find. And especially the 1968, the rigid vinyl pressing, I've been looking for that for the last probably 2 years. So these are some highlights. I've still got some, well, what would it be? 20 records to go. But these were some highlights that I wanted to share with you. And I also want to save some other records for some other videos, maybe. So this was my haul last month, the harvest. I hope you enjoyed seeing some highlights, some very rare records, and some hit and miss jobs. In this this package also are 2 attempts to buy Elvis's back on rigid vinyl, and both turned out to be flexes. The seller said, "No, it's rigid," but you can never know until you hold it in your hand. So that's the beauty of collecting, is the frustration of collecting. It's also the hunt for that particular version, which makes it so interesting. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I really would like to read your comments in the comment section below. So that's my main motivation to make these videos, is to share stories and read your story. What is your biggest miss? What's your biggest find? That's it for now. I hope you like this video. Until next time, bye.
Elvis has left the building. I've told you absolutely straight up to this point, you know that he has left the building. He left the stage and went out the back with the policeman, and he is now gone from the building.